Gophers men's basketball team faced the 5th-ranked team in the country today, Illinois, giving them a chance to make another case for belonging in the NCAA tournament. But here's the catch: Minnesota without Gabe Kalscheur. As always, this is something you have to earn, and games like these, not easy. The Illini pulled out to a 15-point lead with a half-court shot from Trent Frazier to beat the buzzer, who went off for 15 points, which again meant the Gophers had to take this battle uphill. And they failed to do that. Fresh out of the gate in the second half, Illinois Kofi Cockburn dominates at the rim. He led with 22 points. And 30 points later, Ayo Dosunmu ate them alive on a fast break layup. He had 19 points. The Gophers had a bad time out there. They got butchered at home by 31 points. They've got 4 games left. The women's team faced Maryland, ranked in the top 10. They were also shorthanded. Gotti Sissoko carried the team with 16 points, 7 boards, 2 blocks, 3 assists. Sarah Scalia missed this game with an illness. It's not COVID-19. Jasmine Powell left the game in second quarter with an injury. So lots of freshmen on the floor and 13 turnovers. The Terrapins took 23 points off of them. Maryland scoring led by Ashley Owusu. 24 points. The Gophers lost a crushing 94-62. Men's hockey underway now with Michigan State after winning 4-2 on Friday. They're trying to finish the series with another sweep of the Spartans. They're up right now 1-0. And this is it for the women's team's schedule. They're finishing up with Bemidji State after running them off the ice last night 6-1. They're doing it again. Not even a minute in, Madeline Wethington scored. And then she and her sister, Audrey, got assists on this Josie Dunn goal to end the first period. So now they are up 4-1. Second period, Grace Zumwinkel scored, followed by a Gopher power play goal from Crystalline Hengler. The team goes up 6-1 after that. It's an easy way to finish off the schedule, destroying an in-state WCHA opponent. 9-1. 8 different Gophers score today. We'll take a look at a high school sports competition this evening. We'll start with girls basketball. Osseo at Spring Lake Park. Panthers' Cameron Smith. Check this layup out. That's nice. She scored 10 points. Maddie Gene, a steal and a fast break and a layup. She also put up 10 points for the Panthers. Osseo's Ava Holman, watcher, set up for 3, long one. She was the game's leading scorer with 18, but Spring Lake Park won this one 66-54. And with the Twins reporting for spring training, we'll talk about them more at 6 o'clock, but J.A. Happ was diagnosed with COVID-19, so we'll keep an eye on him.
All right, thank you, Norman. We'll be right back with a final look for you at the forecast.
The Twins are reporting for spring training. The pandemic has already affected the team, though. Pitcher J.A. Happ tested positive for COVID-19. It is a lot to ask of these players, not knowing if they'll have fans or not, handling the stress of trying to protect themselves and their families and their teammates. So the club is doing its best to support them.
This is not a time for things to just work themselves out. We have an entire medical team. We have mental health professionals that are available here on an everyday basis.
The Gophers men's basketball team took on the 5th-ranked team in the country today, and Illinois gave them a chance to make another case for belonging in the NCAA tournament. But Minnesota had to do this without Gabe Kalscheur, which was already a tough one. The Gophers had an uphill battle, and fresh out of the gate in the second half, Illinois' Kofi Cockburn dominates at the rim. He led with 22 points, and later on, Ayo Dosunmu ate them alive on a fast break layup. He had 19 points this afternoon. So the Gophers had a bad time out there. They lost at home by 31 points. They have 4 games left to make that case for the tournament. The women's team took on Maryland. They're ranked in the top 10. They're also shorthanded. The Gophers were 13 turnovers. Maryland took 23 points off of them. They were led by Ashley Owusu with 24 points. The Gophers were defeated here as well, a crushing 94-62. Better day in hockey. Men's team underway now with Michigan State after winning 4-2 on Friday. They're trying to finish the series and sweep the Spartans. They've already scored 4 goals. Jack Perbix buried one 90 seconds before the first period ended. 4 different Gophers scored in that period within 8 minutes. Right now, going to the third, they are up 5-1. Penn State series is postponed. Right now, Michigan is currently the final series on their schedule. As for final games on schedule, this is it for the women's team. They're finishing up with Bemidji State. They ran them off the ice 6-1 last night. They did it again today. No mercy, especially on a power play goal from Crystalline Hengler. The team went up 6-1 after that. and they won 9-1. It's an easy way to finish off the schedule, destroying an in-state conference opponent. And before high school sports came to a halt last season, the Farmington girls basketball team made program history in reaching the state tournament. They were ready to face Hopkins on March 14th, 2020 until everything stopped. All that did was give the now undefeated Tigers a benchmark.
We're going to do whatever it takes to get back to where we were last year.
The team slogan says it all. The Farmington Tigers are on a mission.
Whatever it takes is just stepping into whatever role you need to for the team, whether that being a scout player in practice, assist leader for the night, hype on the bench, just kind of doing what you need to do to make the team successful.
You can see that in their wins, most of them not close.
You gotta come in the gym and expect that everyone's gonna gun for you. Everyone's gonna work their tails off to beat us. Like, we put our name on the map and now everyone's like, Farmington, we're gonna beat them. So we gotta come in with the mentality, like, we gotta persevere for anything that people throw at us. Like, we just gotta be ready and on our A game every single day.
But that only pushes them to play even harder.
We're ready to play whoever it is. We're not nervous to play Hawkins or Rosemount or even like any team really. Like, we'll be prepared for whoever we play.
Because they haven't lost sight of their goal to bring home the program's first state championship.
As a senior, it mean everything to me. Like, going out with a bang.
All right, thank you, Norman, for that story. We're going to get one last look at the weather with Lisa because it's warm relatively and getting warmer.
Finally, Aaron. Yes, a little bit of light snow possible as we head into tomorrow. 33 your high, 40s as we start off the work week here. Then we see those temps drop back closer to average for the rest of the week.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Wheel of Fortune is next. We'll see you back here at 10. Lisa. Norman, what's going on your end?
Well, Matt Zuccarello's been back with the Wild for 3 games now, and tonight he scored a goal for the team. So we'll talk about their game with Anaheim and more next in sports.
Now, the Toyota Sports Desk. Visit your local Toyota dealer today.
Norman Seawright joins us now. I can't believe we're talking about baseball already.
I know. I mean, this warm-up came just in time. It feels like it should be time for spring training. The Twins are reporting for spring training. J.A. Happ tested positive for COVID-19, but they are not expecting that to hinder the pitcher's progress. Usually, spring training means the Twins do their work, then they go play some golf, have some fun, keep it loose, but we are still in a pandemic, and they know that. Pitcher Taylor Rogers puts it this way: the players understand where they fit in the world right now.
I think everybody knows that they don't want to be the guy in there to, to stop this. And, there's fans that need this outlet. There's, however many jobs in front offices and at the stadiums, guys need jobs. And it's a greater thing that we need to do.
It's a very mature and well-reasoned take. Major League Baseball wants fans in seats, if possible, so here's proof of concept as the clubs negotiate with state authorities. Seating pods at the Texas Rangers Stadium in Arlington, much like what the St. Paul Saints did last season at CHS Field. So it's possible. We'll just have to wait and see. The Wild are still on the road, facing the Anaheim Ducks tonight. They were without Marcus Johansson due to an upper body injury. But great news tonight. We saw Matt Zuccarello get his first goal of the season. Finally! Just about 5 minutes into the game. There it is. Assists to Kirill Kaprizov and Jared Spurgeon. Minute and 10 seconds later, you have Kevin Fiala, unassisted, just going for it. That guy's fast. Wild up 2-0 on the Ducks after one period. Fiala continued that onslaught in the second period, finding an opening off a shot rebound. Now it's 3-0. The Ducks finally scored late in the second period. That's Josh Mahura doing it. But right now, we're in the third period. Wild up 4-1. Game's winding down. Gophers men's basketball team running out of time to make their case for the NCAA tournament. Without Gabe Kalsher today, they took on Illinois, and the Illini pulled out to a 15-point lead with a half-court shot from Trent Frazier. He went off 15 points, and apparently he practices doing that. So that's a thing that he just does. The Gophers had an uphill battle, and it didn't go well. Illinois overmatched them. Ayo Dosunmu ate them alive on a fast break layup. He had 19 points. 94-63, that was their final score. 4 games left for the Gophers to make that case. The women's team faced Maryland, ranked in the top 10. 13 turnovers. That's how many the Gophers had, and the Terrapins took 23 points off of them. Ashley Owusu led Maryland scoring with 24 points. The Gophers lost here as well, 94-62. They have just 3 games remaining. Better day on the ice for the Gophers. The men facing Michigan State aiming for a series sweep. Scott Reedy scored what ended up being the game-winning goal 14 minutes into the first period. And the Gophers just kept the heat on. Sammy Walker scoring the final Gophers goal of the day. So that came in the second period. The Gophers went on to sweep them 5-1. And here's the final game on the women's team schedule. They swept Bemidji State. There's the game-winning goal for you. Just over 2 minutes into the game, Emily Brown getting it done. 8 different Gophers scored. They won 9-1. Next up for them, you have the playoffs. And we have to give a quick shout out to the Hudson boys hockey team. They have earned their 5th state championship, shutting out Verona 4-0 today. They ended their season with a 21-3 record. So congratulations to them.
It's a good note to end on.
Great note to end on.
All right, thanks, Norman. And stick with us here. The news at 10. We'll be right back.
Minnesota Wild defenseman Matt Dumba knelt during the national anthem in August of 2020, becoming the first pro hockey player to do so, stepping up his desire to fight racism and exclusion in hockey. We brought you this story earlier this week, but tonight we'd like to show you more of the conversation with Dumba as he's explained what's changed.
I was able to look at that and, kind of be able to just laugh at it.
He says he got it all, an inbox full of hate mail, racial slurs, death threats.
You feel sad on life and just our sport.
Matt Dumba says the pushback from confronting racism in hockey means he is on the right track and that growth can be uncomfortable. There's still a lot of talk despite the steps that have been taken, that the league has not quite done enough to address racism in hockey. What will be the right thing to do at this point?
That's a tough one. My opinion is definitely different of the leagues.
Dumba and a team of current and former players created the Hockey Diversity Alliance. They say the NHL isn't doing enough, so it will continue independently of the league.
I know if at one point if we're able to work together with the league to accomplish other things, we'll just be able to spread our message so much further.
The first step, accessibility, meaning grow the game among low-income communities so families and kids feel comfortable at the rink and in the locker room.
Into the corner, centers it out.
But that also means reckoning with the sport's storied history and underscoring that exclusionary behavior is not just a problem from another generation. Matt estimates just 42 players of the more than 800 that played last season were minority. The league has a zero-tolerance policy and hosts inclusion training. But racism happens in all levels of the sport, from the pros to the peewees.
Yes, it did start with Willie years and years ago, but it's still prevalent in our game. Kids from 8 to 14 years old, and have them come through the Wild locker room and, share their experiences and what they've, some of the issues that they've faced. Just emotion just comes crashing in.
Changing the game means challenging the game's culture that players learn in the early stages and carry with them. It's all, hey, team first. You don't want to stand out too much. How do you get past that?
I think what the game is starting to recognize, and some of the stuff that we're doing, is that that individuality is what will, sell the game.
Players are expressing their thoughts on social media, getting involved in new communities, and using their platform to address social injustices.
We've all played with so many awesome guys throughout our careers, white guys, who also believe in the stuff that we're doing.
Creating a space for players of color to feel safe while encouraging allies to speak up.
I'd love to see more of it. The anti-racist and nonviolence, staying silent, as we kind of all know, is basically the same as the violence and what is happening. So standing up for what you believe in.
And that's what's encouraging to Matt. He's not alone in this journey, especially here in the state of hockey.
I've seen so many great things from people here in Minnesota taking initiative and asking what changes need to be made.
Dumba hosts his first Hockey Without Limits camp later this month. The camp invited kids from 3 nonprofits to participate with the goal of teaching the game and fostering more diversity in the sport.
Really cool story. Thank you, Norman. And thank you for joining us tonight. The news will be back here tomorrow morning with Esme and Mike starting at 6. Have a good night.